guys, quick thing before we start. I made this on Scratch, so sorry if the video is 4 by 3, guys. Also, please be sure to check me out there. There's a link in the description. Hey guys, I'm back. I hope you like the stuff that I make. I'm posting a few videos about things that I like, and I hope you enjoy them. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. Bye.
I'm obsessed with lots of different things. Not just numbers and math, but art, technology, Legos, etc. Along those things are video games. For any person older than 60, video games are games that you play on a screen. We all like different games, whether it be 3D exploration-based games, puzzle games, or, first-person shooters. We all like and grow up with different genres. My personal favorite genre is the genre of 2D platformers. Played about 30 of them or so, but there's two in particular I want to talk about today. These two are my favorite games of all time, and they mean a lot to me. They both have an 8-bit art style, even though the release date between them is about 24 years. Anyway, let's get into it. Now, I'm a big Super Mario fan. I'm not sure if any of you knew that. Anyways, you might be expecting this game to be Super Mario World or Super Mario Galaxy. But funnily enough, this game is actually none of those. In fact, a ton of people think this game is bad because of its severe difficulty. The game in question is Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Now, when you boot this game up, you'll see it looks just like the original Super Mario Bros. This is because it was made in the same engine. Also, I don't know why, but the game's logo doesn't show up for some reason. Instead of there being a 2-player option, you can now play the game as either Mario or Luigi. Yes, this is no longer a 2-player game. Each of the plumbers have their own unique traits. Mario has good traction, but he can't jump very high. Luigi, on the other hand, can jump really high, but has very poor traction. This makes it look like he's on ice. He is very useful for reaching certain areas, though. This game features all the power-ups from the original. The red mushroom makes you big, the green mushroom gives you an extra life, the fire flower gives you the ability to shoot fireballs, and the sword gives you temporary invincibility. However, there's one more power-up called the poison mushroom. This isn't much of a power-up, as it only makes you small, and if you're already small, it'll just kill you. Its dark negative colors definitely explain that. This game is hard. Very hard. First shown in World 5-1, the game introduces wind. This allows you to make really wide jumps across pits. New enemies appear too. Red piranha plants pop out of pipes quickly, and won't stop even if you're nearby. There are also 2 different types of warp zones in the game. If you get lucky, it'll help you advance. However, if you're not so lucky, it'll take you backwards. For example, if you're able to get past the flag below World 3-1, you'll find a warp zone that takes you back to the beginning of the game. Once you beat the game and defeat Bowser, you'll be presented to World 9, some sort of fever dream world. But that's not all. If you beat the game at least 8 times in a row, you'll be presented to Worlds A through D, 4 more worlds with 16 challenging levels. Sadly, I don't have footage of that or World 9. Now, I'm not saying that the game being hard is bad, I'm just saying it's a good challenge. Speedrunning the game is even more fun because of all the different routes you can take. Speaking of, the game is chock full of secrets. For example, in World 1-2, if you're able to get past the exit pipe, you'll find a hidden area below with platforms you can jump across. There's a fun challenge to find a warp zone. Now that's a lot of good things, but there's just some stuff that simply ruins the lost levels. For example, World 6-4 absolutely sucks! Thanks, guys! Anyway, the things that ruined this game for me are the fact that you can't go backwards in a level. Like, I get it. This game is from 1986, but come on. Another thing is World 9, which is probably my least favorite world of the game. I want a 9 tour underwater levels with ground elements such as hill, bushes, goombas, bullet blasters, life tubes, etc. All of this weird gray and blue color scheme. You also both under the flagpole, which is rather paranormal for underwater levels. World 9-3 is an outdoor castle with only one enemy, Bowser's brother. Yes, Bowser has a brother. Throw hammers at you, and the only way to defeat him is by throwing 5 fireballs at him. It's kind of tricky to do since you're in a rather tight corridor. There's also a sub-area full of clouds that at night can be accessed by climbing up a vine or entering an L-shaped pipe. Which, is really bizarre. The level ends with a flagpole. World 9-4 is this grand underwater level with random enemies just walking around. This Japanese text saying thank you. Oh, and yes, the level ends with a flagpole. Overall, the Lost Levels is almost perfect except World 9 and the fact that you can't go backwards. Now, my favorite video game ever is not what you think it is. It's not a Mario game, it's not developed by Nintendo, but rather a company by the name of Distraction Limited. My favorite game of all time is VVVVVV. VVVVVV is a 2D platformer where you don't jump, but rather flip. The entire game is based around this mechanic and uses all of its ideas perfectly. Story goes with the scientist dog character called Viridian as a ship that crashes his 5 crewmates. Violet, Vitelli, Vermilion, Verdigris, and Victoria are teleported to a random area in this dimension called Dimension VVVV. Viridian is trapped in a space station with different enemies everywhere. Victoria is trapped in a laboratory with gravity lens to flip through gravity once you come in contact with them. Vermilion is trapped in a really tall auto-scrolling tower with spikes at the bottom. Vitelli is trapped in a haunted space station with conveyors to push in the direction they're facing, and Verdigris is trapped in a warp zone with warping that takes us to the opposite direction of the room we're in. It's up to you, Viridian, to save everyone. And Violet is at the ship, so she's the only one who didn't get teleported. The game also has 20 of these training collectibles, which simply upload the game's soundtrack to play whatever you want back to your ship. If you collect all 20 and then talk to Victoria, you unlock a secret lab which lets you know the achievements you've earned. It also features the Super Gravitron, a really difficult minigame where you bounce between 2 gravity lines, dodging these squares to move at a rapid speed. The game also features 2 level editors. One of them comes with the main game, and the other is called Vet, which is more advanced and has more tools. You can make basically anything you want by combining several of the game's mechanics. You can make a puzzle, a hard-coded barrier, a troll-assisted speedrun, a glitch showcase, a 20x20 adventure with 400 routes, and you can even try and remake some of your favorite games. Once you're done crafting your masterpiece, you can post it online for other people to see. VVVVV is truly an amazing game. One negative thing I can think about this game is the amount of hate gets brought to the internet. Like seriously, a ton of people think the game is too hard for them, but really it's not that much of a hassle. This game is the apex of 2D platforming for me, and it really doesn't deserve that much hate. It's one of the first games I ever played, and it means a huge lot to me. The game has also received various ports over the years. There's the original computer release from 2010, the 3DS release from 2012, and the Nintendo Switch release from 2017. I will always love this game no matter what, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. Oh, and a while ago, the game received its 15th anniversary. So yeah, VVVV is truly an amazing piece of platforming, and while gamers hate it, I will always love it and will never let go of it no matter what. Also, thanks for watching, guys. There's a ton of games that I love but wasn't able to cover in this video because it would probably end up being about 30 minutes long. Also, sorry this video took a long time to make. I was just really busy with other things. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Bye. Alright, I'm just gonna say it out of the gates. Past 5 years have been pretty mediocre, at least for me. They're just less nostalgic than other years we've seen, probably because they're more recent. So today, let's go back 15 years in time to 2010, 11, 12, 13, etc. I'll be talking a bit about each year, events that happened or stuff that came out. So let's begin with 2010. Kicking us off, we have one of the 2 games I covered in my previous video, that being VVVVV. Now, this game is one of the few things to start off this decade, and man, to this day, it's my favorite game of all time. I don't think there's any other game like VVVVV. It's completely original, and the game basically takes a basic gimmick and puts it into hundreds of different situations. The game was released on January 11th, and it's a day I will never forget. 4 months later, another one of my favorite games of all time, Super Mario Galaxy 2, came out on the Wii on May 23rd. It's another great game, and it's an improvement over the first Mario Galaxy. Mario moves faster, you could ride Yoshi, and the levels are quite inventive. So 2010 was the year 2 of my favorite games came out, and honestly, they really hold up today. Next up is 2011, and this is another interesting year in gaming. I mean, we got the 3DS on February 26th, Mario 3D Land on November 3rd, Mario Kart 7 on December 1st, just to name a few. There's also Tsunami in Japan, but that's something else. Anyway, 2011 was quite a year for our video games, and a lot of them were really great. At least the ones I know, but besides that, I got nothing more to add, sorry. Moving on to 2012, VV got a port for the 3DS on May 10th. Actually, VV got ported to the 3DS on December 29th, 2011. Shut up! Anyways, for games, we got New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS on July 28th, the Wii U on November 18th, which is technically a game console, but shut up, and New Super Mario Bros. U on the same day. Also, for whatever reason, tons of people thought this year was going to be the end of the world. 2012 was also the year of the Olympics in London. 2012 was alright. Not as great as 10 or 11, but still a good year. Following that, we have 2013. Since we're on the topic of video games, 2013 was the year of Luigi. We got some pretty cool stuff themed around him, man. Like, we got New Super Luigi U, Dr. Luigi U, and Luigi's Mansion 2. There were also several hidden Luigis in Luigi U and Super Mario 3D World. game so much. It's like the most overrated video game of all time. Anyways, I can't really think about anything else related to this year, so let's move on to 2014. 2014 was the year the Game Awards debuted. It's also the year turns the early 2010s to the mid 2010s. I think this is the year that started a new era in the decade. Gone were the basic days of the late 2000s and early 2010s, and this is when technology becomes more up to date. 2015, however, is really when things start to get modern. If you had a YouTube channel in 2015, then that's when you probably started. I know some channels who started back in 2015. 2015 was like the year things started to come together. 2016, however, is a step down. It was a good year, don't get me wrong, but 90% of YouTube videos I found today from 2016 are really inappropriate. Basically, I don't like inappropriate things. Call me a baby all you want, but most of the time inappropriate things are just not nice. Every time I hear a swear word on YouTube, I dislike the video and never watch it again. Anyways, back to the main topic. 2017 basically saved the world. It's like 2014, but much better. It was also the year of gaming, since so many new games came out that year. I mean, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, and just so many other games. While most of them were alright, I did have some fun with the games from that year. 2018 was like 2017, but with slightly less things. I mean, there was Coco Bella, but who cares about that? I mean, we did get a lot of things, but just not as much as 2017. Kinda makes me feel like things are getting worse as time goes by. You know, forget I ever said that. I mean, it was a good year, just not as good as the years that came prior. But 2019 was really good. Not only was it packed with new things, but everything we got was great. For the most part, I think 2019 was the year a ton of new things became a reality. I mean, come on, we got Super Mario Maker 2, new Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, and so much more. 2019 was truly an amazing year, but then 2020 came to our lives. Anyways, that's it for today. This is my first time using a microphone, so hopefully the audio is a bit better than my last video. I'm really sorry if my voice were that good. It's just that I have so many things I want to do. Anyways, bye.
Warning, the following video is over-exaggerated. Not all opinions shared are accurate to my actual thoughts and feelings, so don't get all weed up, The name. Wii U. This has to be the worst name for a console of all time.
Oh god. 2 months ago, I posted this video where I talk about my favorite games of all time. However, what if today we focused on what we play games with? There's like 50,000 video game controllers out there. However, like with every other genre, one sticks out above the rest. That would be the Wii U gamepad. Today, I'll try to explain why this tablet is so good by looking at the reveal trailer they made for the Wii U. I'll try to analyze it, and hopefully you'll get a good understanding of why I like this thing so much. Before we start, only a small percentage of viewers are subscribed to the channel, so if you subscribed, it would help me out a ton. Anyways, without further ado, let's go. The trailer starts with a guy walking out an apartment with wooden doors. The beach theme from New Super Mario Bros. Wii can be heard in the distance, and the guy then opens the door to reveal a kid playing an early version of New Super Mario Bros. U. The man then tells the kid that it's time to watch baseball, and then he changes the channel. It is then revealed there's a tablet on the chair that is showing the game. The kid then picks up the tablet, showing that it also doubles as a controller. It then shows the kid playing again, with the man watching the baseball game in the background. Just before he collects the star coin, it cuts to the footage of a person drawing someone on the tablet, using a stylus. It appears he is drawing Link from the Zelda series, and a quick montage is shown of him adding details to the drawing. We then cut to another person playing a virtual board game with someone else, showing that it can also be used to play real-life games with friends and family. It then shows the board being almost full, and then the person to the right slides the controller down, leaving the board empty again. This shows how the tablet uses motion controls, just like the previously released Nintendo Wii. We then got to footage of Wii Sports, fully showing that this new invention is motion control compatible by showing that moving it around changes the position of the baseball bat. It then does this unique transition that changes the sky to be sand and the baseball to be a golf ball. It then shows a girl swinging the Wiimote like a golf bat or whatever it is, and then almost throws the ball into the hole. The next clip shows the same girl carrying the controller as she stands on a weight machine, which is possibly a Wii U accessory. This shows how you can stay fit with the controller, as its screen shows the girl's weight. After that, we have a nunchuck under the new controller, and using the new controller, the girl aims for several Miis on the screen, eventually pointing to Miyamoto's Mii, who gets startled by an alarm, which I think is really funny. Next up is another clip where the controller screen has a number of plates on it. and the TV shows some bamboo. The person holding the controller then throws 4 blades at 4 wooden poles. Also, I don't know what that game is, and I haven't seen any other footage of it. Maybe it was a game they made specifically for the trailer, I don't know. However, if you do know what that game is, then please let me know in the comments. After that, we see a phone call being shown on the controller screen of that girl from earlier and a boy. It seems that the girl is showing the boy her tan dog. Then we see someone browsing what appears to be Nintendo's website, and the article seems to be about the 3DS, which Shigeru Miyamoto was Satoru Iwata in an interview. The person then turns the controller on its side, showing that you can also browse in portrait mode. Next up, we have my favorite part of the trailer. This person has a video of the controller screen, while 3 more people are sitting on a gray sofa, watching the TV. The person swipes up, showing a video of the birds singing the first 7 notes of the Super Mario Bros. Overworld theme. This is such an amazing detail that they didn't really need to add. Had the video just been some guy walking on a sidewalk, it would have been just like the other scenes. But they went out of their way to add a neat reference to one of Nintendo's classic games, which I like a lot. The final piece of footage shows some Zelda gameplay on the TV, with inventory on the controller screen. We then have Link defeat a boss, and after that, one more clip appears with the controller sitting next to a bowl with oranges. The controller screen shows the same game as before, and the trailer ends with an animation forming the Wii U's logo. But after looking at all that, I think you can see why I love the Wii U gamepad so much. Not only does the trailer do an excellent job of showcasing tons of features, but it's also not cringy like other Nintendo trailers. We are talking about the British Money Sunshine commercial. But anyways, that's it for this video. Do you despise birds and hate me for liking that clip? Let me know in the comments. I have a lot more video ideas planned for the future, so stay tuned for that. Also, recently, winter turned into spring, so that's cool. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Since September of 2023, I've been making several videos on YouTube. Except 2024, I only posted 1 video that year. However, including all unlisted videos from 2023 and 4, I've made a total of 17 videos throughout the past 2 years. And today, I know it might seem a bit early for this, but I'm going to be putting every video on a tier list from a scale of S to F. S tier is for videos that are perfect, A tier is for videos that I really like but have some flaws, C tier is for videos that are just okay for me, D tier is for videos that I don't really like, and F tier is for the absolute bottom of the barrel. Just in case you're like 5 and don't know what a tier list is. We'll be judging these based off the idea, visuals, and audio. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right in. Starting off our list with the first video I ever published, Algo's Continental Drift Flat version. Okay, before we get into the idea, I just want to clarify that this video isn't mine. It's a non-360 version of this video by Algo from December of 2018. Also, the video is tiny. Anyways, before we get into the idea, I want to give out a bit of history. You see, when I was younger, I used to love geography. I would print other maps and trace them every day, and now I'm into YouTube. Anyways, when I saw El's video for the first time, I loved it and wanted to see what it would look like in 2D. And in August of 2021, I edited it to have different music, which we'll get to in a bit, and to of course be flat. It wouldn't be until September of 2023, more than 2 years after originally making the video, I made it public on YouTube. And then it got over 1,000 views. We'll continue this history with our next entry, but how's the idea? While taking a 360 video that you really like, making it flat, and adding your own music doesn't seem like the worst idea. It's been done several hundred times on YouTube now, and I think for the most part, the idea is pretty generic. But how do the visuals stack up? Well, first off, we start the video with a small title and intro. We then get a key of what the colors on the map represent. Green is North America, yellow is South America, orange is Africa, indigo is Eurasia, purple is Australia, and blue is Antarctica. Get it because it's chilly. Oh, and also white is land that no longer exists, so... The world map then shows itself, and throughout the next 10 minutes or so, it shows how the Earth was formed but in reverse. I've always liked the visuals of everything. It looks like a colorful political world map, and seeing the text at the bottom and top of the screen getting distorted is also kind of funny. I also like how there are countries here, though I always wanted the US states to appear. It would just add a bit more detail to the video. What about the sound? Well, the original video just uses 2 songs. The first sounds calming and gentle, which lasts for the beginning of the video, but then it shifts into a deeper song, which plays throughout the rest of the video. In my version, the video starts off with "You've Got a Friend in Me" from Toy Story, then it shifts to "Pushing Onwards" from VVVVVV. Then the middle theme is "Potential for Anything," and the final song is "Positive Force," both from said game. I just chose that music because I liked it at the time. So with all that being said, I think it deserves a C tier. Originally, I was gonna put it much lower, but when I rewatched it, it wasn't too bad. Still not the best video in the world though. Our next 12 entries are just me playing Atari 2600 games. However, since I didn't know my computer had a capture system until recently, the way I recorded all of these was by taking a stack of boxes, putting a stand for my iPad on it, and I would record myself playing using the iPad. Then the video would be sent to Google Photos, I downloaded the video, then I would upload it to YouTube and write a description. I used to post these almost every Sunday, and one day I just got bored and stopped making them. I thought it was gonna make me popular, but in the end, the opposite happened. We'll continue the story a bit later, but anyways, the first one of these is Adventure, which was published on September 23rd, 2023. The video was recorded over a year before it was published to YouTube, and I didn't use boxes for this one. Instead, I held the iPad with one hand and I played the game with the other. Okay, that's enough waffling. How's the idea? Well, first off, uploading non-commentary gameplay to YouTube isn't bad, and has been done for a long time now. But this video was just worse because those other channels use capture cards, mine did not. This applies to the next 11 entries too, but what we should focus on now is the description. Now here is just a simple sentence welcoming the viewer to this series of videos. But these descriptions got terrible as time went on. The visuals and audio are just kinda boring as well. You can kind of hear the game, but it just doesn't sound good. Also, you can see me playing on the computer screen on my desk. I'm gonna put this in D tier. Not quite enough because the description doesn't suck. That doesn't make the video good though. Next up, we have 3D Tic-Tac-Toe, and yeah, this is one of the shortest videos I've ever made. It was uploaded on the 30th of September 2023, and it's just the same as the last video, but with another game. The idea, visuals, and audio are just the same as the last video. The description is nothing special either, just a simple message telling the viewer that I would upload these every week, if I could upload. I guess you could say that there are some differences with the background. I'm just gonna put this in D tier. Again, not in essence the description doesn't suck, but whatever, let's just move on. Interstate Battle is next, and it was uploaded on the 8th of October. Again, it has the same idea, visuals and audio as the last one, but this is where I really began to get mad with the descriptions. It's just me waffling about how I kept missing one of the planes, which I guess can be kind of funny, because the thumbnail is literally a shot of me missing one of the planes. I mean, it didn't make it or anything, it was literally auto-generated by YouTube. I'm just gonna put this one next to the last two entries in D tier. The only thing stopping it from being an F is that the thumbnail is kind of funny. Alpha Challenge! Ugh! Okay, this video sucks. Just looking at it normally, it may seem like it's the same as the last three entries until you read the description. There is nothing good about this. For Interstate Battle, it could be excused because of the thumbnail, but nothing can save this atrocity. Like, who writes their descriptions like that? Rewinding just makes me look like a cheater who sucks at video games. Looking back, I'm so glad I set the videos to be made for kids, because if I didn't, it would have probably gotten dozens of nasty comments bullying me, saying that I look like an idiot. And there's a possibility that this video and several others we'll see later have dozens of dislikes because of the atrocious gameplay. Sadly, I have to install something called Return YouTube Dislikes to see for myself, so... But with all that being said, this video deserves an F tier. I don't see anyone disagreeing on that. Or maybe I'm just wrong. Asteroids! Ugh! Okay, let me just do this as positively as I can. First off, the description kind of shows off how I wanted to get subscribers. However, since I was young and dumb, I didn't know posting these videos would be a bad idea until I was slightly older. But I guess I learned my lesson now. Anyways, I also celebrated that I hit 7 subs and 26 likes, but it isn't that much. Like, who celebrates hitting 3 subscribers and 11 likes? I don't have much to say on this one. I'm just gonna put it in F tier again. I guess if you want me to compliment it, the asteroids are colorful. I don't know. Next is Donkey Kong. The description is especially bad here because I literally thank myself for subscribing on another person's account. Like, what? And those other 2 subscribers are probably friends and family who I told to subscribe. Oh, and I also questioned the game's atrocity like 8 bajillion times. If this video has one saving grace, it's that I actually beat the game instead of just playing the first level. Unfortunately, I rewinded, so yeah, I'm actually gonna put this in D tier. I know some people may disagree, but hey, something's better than nothing. Donkey Kong Jr. is next, and this is actually the longest video out of these 12. But why is that? Am I just playing bad, or do I suck at this specific game? Well, that's because I actually played all 3 levels. However, I did give up on the third one, so maybe not. Sure, I did the same for Donkey Kong, but that game lasts for like 5 seconds, so I don't really count it. I guess it is kind of funny to see me give up at the end, though. The description, however, really sucks. I literally told the viewer that it took 3 attempts to upload, but like, no one cares about those details. I also said this was the second longest video on my channel. Not anymore, though. Take that, loser! I also want to mention how I celebrated hitting 12 subscribers, which I guess is nice, but no one goes, OMG, this is Choose Upload Wednesday! on every single description they write. I'll just put this one in D tier again. Some people may disagree, but it's my list. Don't tell me what to do. Okay, so I have some bad news. I'm afraid we're gonna have to visit F tier again because we have not 1, not 2, but 3 F tier videos. These 3 are the first 3 Pac-Man games for the Atari 2600. Visual-wise, these videos are nearly identical. I could probably switch all the footage around and you wouldn't be able to tell which is which. We'll be going in chronological order here, starting with Junior Pac-Man. Shut up! Mario Bros. Doesn't count because it doesn't have Pac-Man in it. The main problem with these videos is not just the descriptions, but half of the screen is shown. That is just peak laziness, which makes these 3 some of the worst I have ever made. Junior Pac-Man has me basically say the same thing twice in the description. Also, one of the more harder Atari 2600 games out there isn't the best way to describe the game in my opinion. I also said Pac-Man sequels instead of Junior Pac-Man, which may cause some people to think that I don't know what the game's title is. Miss Pac-Man is basically the same thing, except I didn't mention rewinding in the description so it was slightly better. Another thing is that I mentioned the objective of the game, which may help some viewers to understand how to play better. And finally, we have the original Pac-Man. This is the best one because the screen is mostly shown here and the description is half decent. Again, I mentioned the objective of the game and I apologize for not uploading for the past 2 weeks, but like, name one person who will be upset by that. So with that being said, Pac-Man goes into D tier, while Miss and Junior are going to F tier. Miss is definitely the highest F tier so far, only because I explained the objective. Mario Bros. Is next, and this is kind of similar to Miss Pac-Man in some ways. First off, I not only explained the objective again, but I also mentioned the year it was released. My only problem is that, again, half of the screen is shown, and I also mentioned that I uploaded late because I forgot to do it earlier. This time, though, was much more obvious because I normally uploaded these videos at 8:30, but it really isn't that important. Honestly, at this point, I'm gonna put it as a low D tier. These videos are just so boring. But now, it's time for the final video of this trilogy, Popeye. This is surprisingly the only video I uploaded in 2024. Yeah, that's right. The description is just me apologizing for not posting in 2 weeks because of Christmas and New Year. But like, no one will be upset about that. Also, I forgot to put a capital letter under the full stop. And in the end, I said that I would make tons of new videos, and I never did. So where on earth was I this entire time? Well, if you watch this atrocity of a video we'll get to later, you might have noticed that I have a Scratch account. Basically, in December of 2023, I created a Scratch account because I was getting bored of making videos every week. Throughout the year of 2024, I posted projects literally every day. Suddenly, I don't make them anymore. I think a D tier settles this video. We are finally done with this trilogy of Atari 2600 videos. It had been almost an entire year since I uploaded the last one, and in late 2024, I became obsessed with Storytime animation. Except I caught touch with him and he just makes me swore in his board game video. Anyways, I wanted to make my own Storytime videos, but I changed my mind because I didn't want myself making videos about my life, so I changed to gaming. This is the shortest video I ever made, being around 20 seconds. The idea isn't bad. I mean, it's normal for YouTubers to make videos notifying their viewers that they're back from a long break. It's just hurt by its execution. The visuals of the video are black and white with colors, with black being used for the letters and white for the background. The aspect ratio is also 4:3 instead of the typical 16:9, which I guess you could say makes it more unique, but it's just a worse aspect ratio. The sound is also bad because I recorded it on Scratch instead of using Audacity. I'm gonna have to put this one in D tier. Guys, I have some good news. We are finally breaking out of D tier. Anyways, my favorite games of all time is probably the best and second longest video I ever made. As for the idea, just looking at the title, this may look like one of those top 10 video games videos you see on YouTube, but not this video. Instead, I picked my 2 favorite games ever made and talked about my favorite aspects about them. The difference here is that I spent about 3 minutes on this, while most people tend to spend just 1. I definitely can't say the same about the visuals though. There are several parts of the video that are just black, which I didn't even bother to fill with footage. The clips also kind of look choppy because my capture card just doesn't work, I guess. And the thumbnail is literally a screenshot from the video. I could have just made it myself if YouTube didn't make me have to verify my stupid phone number. The sound is also mediocre. I didn't have a microphone, so I just read the script and repeated it in front of the computer. I mean, my microphone arrived during production, but I didn't feel like re-recording 25 clips of audio with a pair of headphones. But yeah, well, the aesthetic was mediocre. I'm gonna put this in A tier. Not quite an S because of the aesthetic, but still not bad. Also, the comments on this video were just... The 2010s is next, and sadly, it's time to complain. First off, the video is a mere 4 minutes. That is embarrassingly short. I was originally expecting the video to be around 7 minutes. But how's the idea? Well, in retrospect, this isn't bad. Explaining the 2010s is actually a decent idea, but the execution is so lame. The first 10 or so seconds of the video are just black. Although I guess you could say it is nice that I make title cards for each of the years. Even looking at this video from an auditory perspective, this isn't very good. It's like I'm trying to make myself sound bad on purpose. The worst part though is at the end. For 2019, I literally just rambled in front of the microphone, making my voice sound even worse. Like, take a listen. But 2019 was really good. Not only was it packed with new things, but everything we got was great. For the most part, I think 2019 was the year a ton of new things became a reality. I mean, come on. We got Super Mario Maker 2, New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, and so much more. 2019 was truly an amazing year. But this belongs in D tier. Not enough since I did get a comment once praising the video. But now, it's time for the final entry, my favorite game controller of all time. This is my most recent video, and honestly, it's okay. The idea is decent. Looking at a trailer to find ways something can be good isn't a bad idea. In fact, far from it. It's just, again, ruined by the execution. The visuals are better than the last video, but there is still a bit of black, and the audio is slightly better than last time, but not by a lot. I did get one comment though which said, "Why is this my best controller?" Proceeds to just summarize the first trailer for it rather than saying its actual value. Yeah, I love the Wii U gamepad, but it's definitely not perfect. The Wii is oddly low, the plastic is kinda rough to the touch, the screen is really poor and even had the backlight burn on mine. Yes, I'm serious, you can see the individual LEDs. And the joysticks on top of both sides make it kinda awkward to use the face buttons. Oh, and if you break the controller, sucks to be you, Nintendo didn't sell replacements. If you needed it fixed, they required you send it back your entire system to Nintendo, pay $150, wait, dollars? I'm not American, don't mess with the wrong currency, and you still have to pay the shipping. Needless to say, when my joystick started to drift, that was the end of the Wii U in my eyes. You think Joy-Cons are bad? Think how bad it is to pay $150 and have no system for 2 to 4 weeks. Okay, summarizing the first trailer is literally the only way I can analyze this thing uniquely from everyone else. The joystick's on the side for controlling camera, and to break the controller, you have to be an idiot. This video goes into C tier, it's just okay. However, that's not quite the end of the video. Before I go, I want to rank each individual video from worst to best. This is based on their placings on the tier list. Starting with 17, Atari 2600 Games Part 8, Junior Pac-Man. I am absolutely not surprised by this. I've always disliked this video. 16, Alpha Challenge. This video is slightly better, but not by much. 15, Asteroids. I don't really have much to say on these besides the game, so let's just kind of speedrun this section. And I want to save a tiny bit of time. 14, Miss Pac-Man. 13, Mario Bros. 12, Pac-Man. 11, Popeye. 10, Donkey Kong. 9, Donkey Kong Jr. 8, Air Sea Battle. 7, 3D Tic-Tac-Toe. 6, Adventure. So that's our streak of Atari 2600 videos. Now let's get into the top 5. 5, I'm back. I don't know why this video is so high despite it being in D tier. 4, the 2010s. This video is just kind of bad in my opinion. Also, it's 4 minutes. 3, Alice Continental Drift flat version. Here we have our first C tier, and I just found this video to be okay. Just like 2, my favorite game controller of all time. But what actually ends up taking the crown, 1 of my favorite games of all time. This is the only video that I posted that I actually kind of like. But anyways, that's it for this video. Do you think Donkey Kong Jr. is the best unlisted video of 2023? And hate me for putting it in D tier? Let me know in the comments. I had a lot of fun writing the script for this video. Hopefully it comes out before the end of April. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. So if you watched my last video, you'll know that you used to have a Scratch account. Basically, in case you missed it, in December 2023, I made an account on the programming website Scratch. I began experimenting with Scratch shortly after creating my account, and in February of 2024, I posted my first ever project. And I hated it. Over the course of the following weeks, I made a bunch of other projects about numbers and timetables. Then I posted other projects like updating my character designs, a music cover, a Sprite Up miniseries, and a bunch of other random projects no one cares about. However, one of these was a project that introduced a character that will become one with myself.
Hello?
This is Ulysses Ulloa, and in the description I described him as my avatar. No, wait, sorry, OC. This was also the very first time people were exposed to hearing my voice. Ignore the barely hearable swallowing sounds like reading the Atari videos. Anyways, as time went on, I improved his design more and more, and today, this is what he looks like. Actually, he also looks like that in your arrangements project. In this video, I thought it would be fun to look back on Yo to analyze his design. Character design has always been something I've been interested in, so making this video should be pretty fun. Also, I do not want my videos to come out late ever again. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right in. Let's start off with his personality. Now, this is going to require a bit of context, so hear me out. In the intro, you may have noticed these block-like characters and have probably been wondering what the hell these things are. Well, they're what's known as number blocks. Basically, it's this math program on CBeebies that teaches young children about maths. Well, yo, didn't know you watched a show for babies. What a loser, ha ha ha. Anyways, my favorite character from the program is 21, which makes sense since that's his number. For those of you who have actually watched Number Blocks, you'll know that 21 is an explorer. She likes to find new numbers and figure them out, and that's basically who Yo is. He's brave, he's curious, and because he's 3 times 7, he can be quite lucky. He's also very smart and has a connection with 21 as they both love exploring. Also, I'm not including pictures of the show, cause... Anyways, I haven't got that much more to say on the personality section, so let's move on to his actual design. The body's obviously where we'll start off. Like 21, his body is made up of 2 10 blocks and 1 unit. Unlike 21, his 10s are light blue. No, not that light blue. While his unit is orange. Look, it's just like my profile picture. This is actually a reference to the yin-yang symbol. Okay, this may sound stupid, but let me explain. Basically, the way this works is that one side is good, but the other is evil. Now, orange is my favorite color. I mean, why do you think Africa is my favorite continent? And blue is one of my least favorite colors. I thought combining them would be a cool idea for his design, so I kept it. Now blue and orange are my 2 main colors. I mean, they're literally on all of my profile pictures. Let's talk about his face and limbs. His left arm and leg are both blue to match with his 10 blocks, and his right arm and leg are orange to match with the unit. Same for his eyes, however, they are both covered by what looks like an amethyst step mask, but are actually his glasses. No, I do not actually have glasses in real life. And did you know that the fact that there are even glasses in the first place comes from one of the unlikeliest places? That's right, Arthur! Or whatever God is. More specifically, the very first episode, Arthur's Eyes. This is from October of 1996. So retro. I swear to God! If you didn't know, the story goes that Arthur struggles with his work one day and keeps getting headaches. He goes to the eye doctor, and they give him a pair of glasses. His parents then drive him home, and the next day he gets bullied by his friends. He then throws his glasses away, and then a few days later, people start to get used to him wearing glasses. This is also how Yo got glasses, which coincidentally also acts as his step mask. Next, let's talk about his accessories. He has 2 explorer boots that resemble high heels. In his older designs, they actually were high heels, but I thought it looked ugly, so I changed it. The left one is blue, and the right one is orange. They both have laces on them, and there's a stitched Africa on the back of them. I simply put this in because one of my shoes also has Africa on the back of them. He also has a blue version 21's camping backpack, featuring a sleeping bag, a yoga mat, maps, and water. That's not nice. Inside the backpack, he has food, a bike, and a tent. His hat is a blue version of 21's hat, except it's more detailed. The rainbow feathers are now 7 electric leaves with a dark red outline on a stick. Clearly a reference to, He also has a miniature version of a 20 by 20 multiplication grid, which only shows the multiples of 25. But anyways, that's it for this video. Are you mad at me for not mentioning his lips? Let me know in the comments. I hope this video doesn't turn out too short or like some of my other ones. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of my favorite games ever made, just behind Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and VVVVVV. However, despite me really loving a lot of the game, there are just 2 levels that stick out as a sore thumb, but for all the wrong reasons. Those levels are the 5th level in World 6, 6-5, and the 1st level in World 7, 7 Tower. These 2 levels are probably my least favorite part about the entire game. And today, I'll try my best to explain why. Welcome to the first episode of my level analysis series. This is meant to be the first episode of many to come from a brand new series of mine where I take a look at certain levels from games and break them down into 3 sections. We'll talk about these levels from a layout, aesthetic, and highlight standpoint. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right into 6-5. Okay, so 6-5's layout. I return to this game of Maze Floor. You start a level in an outside area with giant ice blocks. There's nothing else to really do other than enter the green pipe, so you move on. That puts us into a cave area with these disgusting buster beetles trying to freak you out by throwing blocks at you. Anyways, you then find another pipe, but it doesn't do anything so awesome. Then you find some bricks you can pick up and throw. There's also a question mark block with a Tanuki suit. Continuing on with the level, there are some obstacles and blocks you need to jump over. After that, you find another pipe that puts you into a small room with another Tanuki suit. Following the next pipe, that takes us to... Why are we back here? So yeah, all of this just leads you back in a circle. So where on earth are we actually supposed to go? Well, you may have noticed that while I was playing, you may have noticed these holes in the ceiling. So let's take a look at those. There are 6 of these, and the first one has nothing, okay. So moving on, the second one and the 4th one lead to a small corridor with 11 coins. The 3rd leads to a small area with bricks, and the one in the middle has a 1-up, which is always nice. The 5th one is the exit, which I absolutely hate because to open it up, you have to use a Koopa shell. Now, normally that would be a nice little puzzle, but the fact that the shell can just wake up is just extremely annoying. After opening it up, you have to enter the pipe and run to the ending. Oh, and if you're wondering, the 6th floor also has nothing. Very exciting stuff, I know. This is just disgusting in terms of level design. There is 0 indication that you have to use the Tanuki suit, and for players who don't know how to fly, this can be a big problem for them. So yeah, I don't see any way you could like this. However, I do think the aesthetic is a bit better. This level is supposed to take place inside a cold underground cave with a nice white and cyan color for the walls. The pipes are green with a white and cyan reflection from the walls. The starting area is completely made out of giant ice blocks. I really like when these appear. It always makes the level look a bit nicer. The ending area is made out of normal ground and small ice blocks for walls. As for some highlights, I don't know, I guess I found a missing block on the map. The second level is 7 Tower. This is without a doubt one of the worst levels in Mario history. Let's just break it down step by step and see. You start the level off in a room full of bricks. There's not much else to really do other than to move to the right, so you move on. That takes you to a door, and entering it takes you to a mostly empty hallway with a few things like this boo structure with no boo, and some waffle structures without waffles. Going to the left also has nothing, but going to the right takes you to another door leading to a brand new room with a lava, a platform, and 4 question mark blocks. 3 on the platform and 1 on this higher platform with a fire flower. Also, there's another pipe that doesn't do anything. These levels were clearly made by the same person. So if that pipe doesn't take us to anything, where on earth are we actually supposed to go? Well, in the starting room, you may have noticed this wall right here, and if you break the bricks at the bottom, you find a gray P-switch. Hitting this P-switch spawns in 2 doors. The bottom one takes you back to the hallway, so that's pointless, but the top one takes you to a blue room with 2 pipes. The first one takes you to another room with the Tanuki suit. I also don't like waiting for these bricks to turn into coins. Luckily, you can kind of speed this up if you equip a Tanuki suit before the level, but still. Anyways, the second pipe takes you back to the room with lava. So where do we go now? Oh, that's simple. Take the Tanuki suit to the left of the hallway and randomly just fly up. If you get lucky, you'll find a pipe on the ceiling. What the There is absolutely no indication that this pipe exists at all. What, just because this wobble thing has its brightest point facing upwards as opposed to because the pipe is up there or something? This is just terrible level design. Once you get up there, you just have to fight Boom Boom, who I guess can now fly, but it's still really easy. The aesthetic isn't much better either. It's just plain Mario 3 castle colors, with gray being used for the starting room, the lava room, and the Boom Boom fight. The hallway and pipe room are both blue, however the hallway does have a checkered floor, which is kind of nice. Other than that, though, this level is pretty boring. I mean, you could literally recreate it in Mario Maker. So yeah, the aesthetic is also quite lame. I do have one highlight, though. If you equip the Tanuki suit before entering the levels, you can break the bricks at the beginning, and due to the starting room and the lava room being right next to each other, you can actually glitch into the lava room by crouching underneath one of the bricks and then letting go. That way, you can just enter the door to the left, run it up to the pipe, and then finish the level that way. So for my ranking of Super Mario Bros. 3 levels, 6-5 would be in last place, while 7 Tower would just sneak past it because of that cool trick. But anyways, that's it for this video. Do you think the starting room in 7 Tower is the most rated thing in gaming history? Hate me for thinking it's the second worst level in the game? Let me know in the comments. I gotta be honest, these videos are not living up to my expectations. First, I hope the tier list video comes out before the end of April, only for it to come out in May. Then the Ulloa video is less than 5 minutes in length, and it sucks. This is just ridiculous. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! The original Super Mario Maker is one of my favorite games ever made. It's just so fun to design and play levels, as it allows you to create all sorts of amazing and creative things. However, the game also allows you to play 68 courses made by Nintendo themselves. These are called sample courses, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the list, you'll find 4 levels named NWC 2015-1, NWC 2015-2, NWC 2015-3, and NWC 2015-4. These are 4 levels made for the Nintendo World Championships 2015 competition to see who could beat the levels the fastest. It's probably a lie, but I have a blurry memory. What can I do? However, after the event, Nintendo decided to add these to the game as sample courses. Welcome to another episode of my level analysis series. I really hope this video is longer than some of my other ones because this is just embarrassing. Like last time, we'll be breaking down these levels into 3 sections. First, we'll look at the layout, then the aesthetic, and finally end with some highlights. Also, coincidentally, I'm posting this around the same time Mario Maker celebrates its 10th anniversary, which is great for me. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right in. NWC 2015-1 is the first level on our list. You start off in what looks like 1-1 from the original Super Mario Bros., but all the blocks contain enemies in them. Except there's one which contains a vine that leads to a single coin, so what's that about? After getting past the pipes, the level takes a turn. Instead of there being a pit like in the original, a massive wall made of fire bars is blocking the goal. Instead, you have to enter the pipe to move on with the level. This takes us to the same area, but all the enemies are now giant. And there is also an abomination of enemies in between 2 of the pipes as well. However, the firebar wall is now a firebar platform. Also, there's a question block containing a hammer bro. Really funny troll there, guys. Anyways, after that, you have to avoid a bunch of giant winged piranha plants coming out of the pipes. Now, this is the part of the level that I don't like. You have to use treadmills as platforms to continue on with the level. However, these treadmills are tiny, and if you fall off, you have to start again. I just find it tedious having to do this part over and over again until you make it. After that, you just need to jump off some paratroopers. However, even these can be annoying because sometimes I end up bumping into them and I have to do the whole level again. After entering the pipe, the level comes to an end. There's also a coin shower for some reason. Cool? Yeah, so unfortunately this level is kind of mid. I do like how it starts, but I really dislike the ending. But is the aesthetic any better? Well, it uses the original Super Mario Bros. Game style, and it also uses the ground theme, which is really overused. I do like some other things, like this grinder hanging off a vine, these enemies in cages, and these mushroom platforms on the treadmills. As for some highlights, the vine that leads to a single coin on a cloud is kind of funny. And also the small details of the lower treadmills are nice as well. NWC 2015-2 is next, and this is probably my least favorite of these 4 levels. It's just kind of hard to the point where it's annoying, but let's get into the layout. You start the level off in an airship, however there is a massive pit below, and the only way to get across is with a clown car. Now I don't know about you, but I hate these things. They're usually annoying to navigate, and when it bumps into a spike trap, it basically passes out and is uncontrollable. Anyways, the first obstacle in the level is a massive army of lava bubbles. Then after that, you have to go through a passage with burners, avoid some large chain chomps, and then squeeze through the scap with a bunch of piranha plants coming out of the pipes, and also some spike traps on the wall. It can be difficult, but hitting the spikes is extremely annoying. Then you have to leave the clown car and enter this tight area with a bullseye barrel launcher on the side. It can be stressful trying to make it out here alive. After climbing a few vines, you enter this area with a Koopa and a Sludge Bro. However, there are also giant Buzzy Beetles coming down from a pipe in the ceiling. This part is hard, but that also makes it kind of annoying. If you die, you literally have to do the entire thing again. After entering a pipe, you are taken to a normal area. However, all the blocks and pipes contain enemies, which is useless because it just annoys the player. After passing off some note blocks, you make it to an area with Koopas coming out of a pipe. However, there are also Spinies crawling on the ceiling, so you have to be careful with your jumps. Then you have to kick the Koopa so that it releases a vine and a mushroom. You obviously want to get the mushrooms, so you have to be quick or else it will fall. Then you have to maneuver across this area with vines. Now thankfully, I don't recall dying here, but it's still extremely scary. After that, you have to wear a Goomba suit to cross some grinders. After dodging a few thwomps, you have to get on another clown car to reach the pipe. However, it's guarded by enemies. Usually I just try and defeat them all, but I'm pretty sure it's possible to get through without killing a single one. After that, you enter a pipe taking you to the goal. Now that may not seem too bad, but for whatever reason, when I played the level for this video, it was pure hell. I kept dying in places that I don't normally die, I kept getting frustrated, but I did make it. This is why Ulysses 2015-3 was my least favorite level, because of how frustrating it can be. And Ulysses 2015-1 can be annoying too, but Ulysses 2015-2 is literally hell. The aesthetic is a bit better here. I do like this part where they use semi-solids as decoration. I also really like how the Mario 3 airships look. The wood just looks really nice. I don't know about the ground theme though. I've always just thought it looked alright. As for some highlights, I don't really have any. Let's just move on to Ulysses 2015-3. And Ulysses 2015-3 is slightly better. I wouldn't say by a lot, but I did enjoy it more than the other two levels. You start with a fall to a picador area. Basically, if you don't know, a picador is where there are 4 doors, however, only one allows you to progress in the level. These are terrible because you don't know which one takes you to your goal, and if you're unlucky, there might be arrows pointing at what looks like the right door, but it isn't. Anyways, going into door 3 takes us to a hallway made from turn blocks. This part can be intense for a new player, as outrunning the cannonballs can be challenging. However, my favorite part is when the Buzzy Beetle hits a power block and a P-switch, making the entire hallway collapse into coins. You then get put into this very bouncy area with springs coming out of the blasters and no blocks. You then have to use one of the springs to climb up a wall with a Koopa. You then have to kick him into this narrow passageway so that the shell opens a question block with a vine. After jumping on a cannonball, you then have to jump on some parabeetles before entering a pipe. That takes us to, it's another picador. Fantastic stuff, guys. This time going to door 6 takes us to another hole with a mushroom above the roof. I also like how you can wait for the mushroom to come down by itself, or you can also hit a block so that the mushroom can come down earlier. Then after some spin jumps on the turn blocks, or if you're a coward, you can just use the bomb, you make it to an area with swamps. Honestly, this is kind of anticlimactic. I mean, it may seem challenging, but if you know what you're doing, it's really bloody easy. Also, never ever spin jump here. It will not end well, trust me. Anyways, after that, you reach the level's penultimate challenge, which is jumping off some platforms and parabeetles while avoiding obstacles such as swamps and Bowser's fire. Also, if you suck, you get put into this ugly vertical maze area. After entering one last pipe, the level comes to a close. This one's alright. I don't really have too many problems with it, but still, it's not the best thing ever. The aesthetic here, though, is kinda mid. It uses the Mario World Underground theme, but it's both a bit ugly and very overused. The way it's used here, though, is kinda nice, as it kinda looks like those subterranean underground tunnels. As for a highlight, the part where you can choose how you can get the mushroom is nice, as it kind of encourages speedrunning due to less experienced players waiting for the mushroom to make its way, but for more experienced players, they can just hit a block and they get it. But now, it's time for my favorite level in the game, NWC 2015-4. This level nails pretty much what every other one didn't by making it challenging, but not too challenging to the point where it's annoying. You start the level off with you having to wall jump while avoiding grinders. Not only does this feel nice to do, but I also like how you can get a mushroom before doing it so you don't have to risk dying. After that, you have to jump off a cannonball, jump off a platform, and then wall jump between some pillars. Then you need to break some bricks using a ground pound, which in my opinion is a really great way to show it off. Then you have to jump on some flying blocks while dodging lava bubbles before making it to another pipe. Entering that takes us to an underwater section. Now, I normally don't like these because they're extremely slow, and sometimes they drag on for way too long. However, this one is really not too bad. You just have to swing through some grinders, kill some bloopers and cheap sheeps, and outrun a bunch of wigglers. Come to think of it, this might have been the inspiration for Mario Wonder's Wiggler races. Anyways, after entering another pipe, you're no longer underwater. This time we get to use Yoshi, which I really enjoy because I like Yoshi a lot. Here you have to do a flutter jump, get off Yoshi, then fall between some spike traps to activate a P-switch. Then you have to get back on Yoshi, as you have to do a platforming challenge to avoid some fire bars. Sadly, this is the last time we'll see him, as you need to make your way through an invisible block path. After that, you have to do a platforming challenge off some blue platforms that fall when you land on them. Then you have to jump off some hard blocks on tracks and a donut block. Now sadly, this is the part of the level I don't like. It's not about the challenges, but if you fail, you have to do the part with the blue platforms again. I personally think this is unnecessary. Just put a door before doing the challenge with the moving blocks. Anyways, the penultimate challenge requires you to do some platforming on some ice blocks. You also have to ride a skull platform while avoiding them, which I like. After riding another skull platform, you are faced with the final boss, Bowser. He'll obviously shoot fire at you, however he also has a bullseye bow blaster and a normal blaster that shoots fire flowers on his shell. I personally like to defeat him by throwing like 60 fireballs at him. However, I'm pretty sure you can just run under him when he jumps. Either way, after defeating him, the level comes to a close. This was just a phenomenal way to show off Mario's moveset in a variety of different challenges. This is not only my favorite level in this video, but my favorite sample level in the game. You were always doing something challenging, and I enjoyed basically every second of the level. The aesthetic is also very nice. It takes place in the new Super Mario Bros. U castle theme, which is just perfect. I've always liked the break pattern on the walls, and the boiling red just makes the theme look even nicer. The music sets the tone of the level perfectly. While the level design isn't always the best, it doesn't matter because the way the level is executed is almost perfect. Two highlights I want to mention are trying to make it past the invisible block part while hitting the least blocks. It's a fun way to try and speedrun the level, as you have to memorize where the gap before the invisible blocks are. The other highlight is the final Bowser fight, as you can either take your time with it like I always do by shooting fireballs at Bowser, or you could do it quickly by running under him when he jumps. These choices between easy and hard always make a level better for me. But anyways, that's it for this video. Are you mad that I didn't mention Don't Delay on here despite it not being in the 17th world? Let me know in the comments. I'll be honest with you all, I'm not doing a good job of making good videos. They never get views, they never get likes, they never get comments, but I am not going to give up on YouTube. And also, I want to apologize if I got anything wrong in this video, or if some parts of the script sound like I'm being lazy. It's probably because I haven't made a video for like 2 months, so that's probably why. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of my favorite games ever made, just behind Super Mario World, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and VVVVVV. Wait a second, I've already used that intro. Anyways, Super Mario Bros. 3's worlds are pretty generic. Like, they're not bad, just not that original. There are some exceptions, however, such as World 4, which is themed after giant objects. However, the most unique world in the game is not that. That honor goes to World 7, aka Pipeland. Welcome to another episode of my level analysis series. This time we'll be using a slightly different structure than the last 2 episodes. By the way, thanks for all the support on the last one, it means a lot. The pilot failed horribly. The layouts and aesthetic sections will still be there, but instead of some lame highlights, we'll be using a tier list again, specifically to rank all the levels in this world. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe or else I'll be mad, and let's jump right into the layout. World 7 is basically an archipelago of 12 islands, and you can travel the archipelago via a pipe or swimming. Anyways, you first spawn on the northwesternmost island, and there are 2 pipes. One to the right, which takes you to, okay, it's an inaccessible area, fantastic stuff, and one down the bottom. You need to finish the first level to access this one. Entering this pipe takes us to an island in the south, which has 3 pipes. The top right one leads to a smaller island with the Toad House. After finishing the second level, you can enter the bottom right pipe and move on to the next island. Here you can finish the 3rd level, and then we are faced with a split path. Going to the left takes us to a 1-up game in the 4th level. Then you can enter another pipe to another island. And going to the right takes us to the 5th level in the Toad House. Also, what is the point of this pipe if it doesn't take you anywhere? Anyways, entering the left pipe takes us to the level's first tower, which is absolutely rubbish, but we'll get to that later. Going to the left, however, takes us to a special level with piranha plants and munchers. There's also a pipe that takes us to another inaccessible area. Awesome. Speaking of, after you finish the first tower, the first inaccessible area is no longer inaccessible. But I mean, what's the point? It only takes you backwards. Either way, after the tower, we have another 1-up game, and of course, the 6th level. Going into the next pipe takes us to the easternmost islands in the archipelago. Here you can choose between level 7 or 8. There's also another Toad House and a 1-up game here. After finishing the 9th level, we can go to the 2nd tower. Beating it unlocks the final path that was previously inaccessible. After one last piranha plant level, it's finally time for the airship level. But how about the aesthetic? Each island here is colored green, which makes sense since most islands in real life are green. However, there are also these green piranha plants scattered around the archipelago. Mario can't interact with them as they're just decoration, but it makes this world look really nice, because World 7 is all about pipes, and piranha plants come out of pipes in Mario games. But now it's time for the longest section of this video, the level tier list. World 7 has 12 levels, 14 if you count the plant ones. This tier list will be ordered from S to F. S is for the best levels, while F is for the rubbish ones. We'll get to that in a minute. Starting off, we of course have the first level in World 7, 7-1. You start in an outdoor area and have to enter a door to the right. After jumping on some mini pipe platforms, you make it to the level's first real obstacle, which is basically clearing out a bunch of piranha plants to make it up the pipe. You can use a Koopa on one of the platforms below to clear them out. After going up some more pipes, you are faced with 2 routes. The first one is a platforming section where you get to jump off some pipes with piranha plants before making it up another pipe. However, the alternate route involves you having to run so you can get enough speed to fly with the Tanuki suit. If you fly to the left, you can collect about 30 coins in the small room before going up the pipe. Here you just need to kill a pair of Koopas, and then go up the pipe to finish the level. However, you can also run to get enough speed to fly with the Tanuki suit. I think this level was decent. I like the idea of a pipe tower, and there were some cool shortcuts near the end. Definitely an A tier. 7-2 is up next, and let me just start off by saying that this level is very orange. Orange is my favorite color. You start off in a desert-themed area, and you can only go to the right. After avoiding a nipper plant and jumping off a pipe, second pipe is one that you can actually enter. This will take you to an underwater area. There are 4 pipe entrances in this level. If you swim all the way to the left, you will find a P switch you can hit to turn all the bricks into coins. Continuing on with the level, you are faced with a puzzle. You basically fall into this pit, but every time you try to escape, a note block appears. What you have to do is enter the pipe to the left, then enter the pipe to the left of the first pipe, and you will be freed from the trap. I think that's a nice puzzle. Or you could just fly over everything with the Tanuki suit. There's also a hidden room where you can get a fire flower, however, it's thankfully not underwater. After jumping a few more pipes, the level comes to an end. I like this one. The trap puzzle was cool, and the level was solid. If I had to give one criticism, it's that the level takes place in the desert and not the grassland. Other than that, a solid A tier. Next up is 7-3. Thankfully, they fixed up the aesthetic on this one, and it's an actual grassland instead of the randomly out-of-place desert that is 7-2. You begin with you having to slide down a large hill. Flying down these is always satisfying, especially when there's enemies on it. After doing it 2 more times, we're faced with a lack of 2. These are always kind of annoying because sometimes they throw too many spinies. However, I wouldn't say this one is that big of a threat. Here you can also find a P switch that, when hit, reveals 8 blue coins. That's back to some slightly smaller hills before finally making it to the end. However, the best part of this level is chaining several stars together. You see, at the beginning, you may have noticed a question block. Hitting it will reveal a star. The fun part is that if you have the star, certain blocks in the level will also have stars. It's really fun chaining the star power together so that it doesn't run out. And while it makes the level really easy, it's still extremely satisfying. Definitely a high C tier. I don't want to put it too high because it feels too short and sweet. But I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. Space Station 1 from VVV is kind of similar to this level in some ways, and it's one of my favorite levels ever made. Damn it, I spoiled a definitely real VVV level analysis episode. 7-4 is next, and honestly, this level is complete rubbish. You begin outside as always, but it all falls apart when you enter the pipe. That's because this level is an underwater auto-scroller. What a fantastic combination. Anyways, you have to first swim through a bunch of white donut structures while avoiding various fish. After that, the auto-scroll goes in a diagonal direction, which I guess is a nice change of pace. Well, it's not nice, but you know what I mean. After dodging a bunch of jellyfish, you are back to ground level. From here, you just have to swim through a bunch more of those donut structures while avoiding some more fish. After entering the pipe, the level comes to an end. This was just a really boring level. However, there is a cool bit at the beginning that I wanted to mention. In the ground area before you go into the water, you can actually fly over the wall and collect a pair of 1-ups. This is fairly easy to do, but it's a nice change of pace. Overall, I think this level deserves a D tier. The only thing stopping it from me and F is that you can fly over the wall at the beginning. After 7-4 is go up 7-5. You begin by yet again having to enter a pipe. That takes you to a room with 2 green paratroopers. After those, you enter a room with 2 platforms with 2 red Koopas on them. Then you enter a corridor area with 6 pipes. You want to go through the 4th one to continue on with the level. Then you have to go through another pipe where you end up in another room with 3 green paratroopers. However, you can actually completely skip that if you have a Tanuki suit, because if you break this brick, you can actually make your way to the next room. Either way, you then have to enter the bottom pipe all the way to the end to make a bridge for you to cross. Then you have to form another bridge to make it to the pipe. However, what if I told you that you don't have to do any of that and you can use the Tanuki suit again to fly your way past those gaps? After entering one last pipe, the level comes to a close. I really like the shortcut implementation in this level. It encourages speedrunning while also being fun to take on a normal playthrough. So for that, I think this level deserves to be placed in C tier along with 7-3. Okay, we were about to reach a horrible level at one point. This is 7th Tower and it is one of the worst levels in the entire Mario series. I already made a video explaining why I hate it at the beginning of summer, but that video was rubbish, so let me explain it better this time. You begin in a room filled with bricks. There's not much to really do here other than to enter a door to the right so you can move on. That puts us in a massive hallway with a few objects, such as this boost stretch and these weird defunct waffle structure things. I don't know. To the left of the hallway is nothing very interesting, and to the right is another door. This takes you to another room with some question blocks and the pipe that doesn't do anything. So it's basically another dead end. Where do we go now? Well, what you have to do is go back into the starting room with all the bricks and break the ones in the middle to reveal a P switch. Hitting it not only turns every brick in the room into coins, but it also spawns 2 doors. One at the top of this platform and one at the bottom. The bottom one leads to a hallway, so it's rubbish, but the top one leads to yet another room with 2 pipes. The first one leads to some kind of bonus room with the Tanuki suit, and the other takes us to Why are we back here again? So yeah, even the piece, which is completely pointless, what you actually have to do is randomly fly all the way up to the hallway ceiling until you find a pipe. What the actual frick? After entering the pipe, you just have to defeat Boom Boom, and then you can finish the level. This is just exceptionally terrible in terms of level design. The fact that there is no indication of the pipe here is atrocious, and you just have to pray and guess that you're actually close to the pipe. Easy F tier. I cannot stand this atrocity of level. Thankfully, 7-6 is a lot better and much more creative. This one has you start like every other level before it by entering a door. That puts us in a staircase area where you have to go up. After this, you are introduced to a new platform, which is basically this one that changes direction whenever you jump on it. Here you can use it to navigate all the obstacles, however I also like the alternate option of just doing some classic platforming. Then you reach a platform that only goes up, for making it to one that just moves left, and you have to use the two to enter a pipe. Or you could just jump to the pipe from the first platform. It can be kind of tricky to do, but it is possible. Then you have to go on another platform that changes direction when you jump on it. After avoiding some spikes, you are then forced to use a combination of platforms that move left, right, and up to navigate the following section, before using the platform that moves in all directions again to navigate a pair of pipes with piranha plants coming out of them. After that, you make it to another pipe and the level comes to an end. I must be honest, this was actually great. I love how he uses these platforms for some creative puzzles that actually require some thinking. So for its ingenious creativity, I think we have our first S tier on our list. Definitely a really solid level. 7-7, however, is where things start going wrong again. You begin by entering a pipe, taking you to the next area. After jumping over a few pipes, you hit a question block to get a star. This is where the level starts to fall apart. Literally the entire time you're just either running on munchers or collecting stars so that you don't run out of star power. Anyways, after running on munchers for a bit, you then have to jump through a few pipes, kind of like Flappy Bird. After getting another star, going under a pipe, and then entering another pipe, the level finally comes to a close. I think this was just a really dull and uninspired idea. At least 7-3 made the stars optional, but here you have to use them no matter what. This honestly deserves a D tier, not an F since sometimes the timing on the stars can be kind of strict. Next up is of course 7-8. You begin by having to do some platforming on some pipes while avoiding piranha plants. Then after making it through a pipe staircase, you have to do some more platforming before crossing a bridge. After a few more jumps, the level comes to a close. I like how this level uses different kinds of piranha plants to make for an interesting challenge. This level also features a few secrets such as these question mark blocks above these pipes, a coin heaven area, and also this 10 coin block above a tall pipe. However, my favourite secret is definitely the last one. In the middle of the level, you'll find a pipe. However, you may notice it doesn't have a piranha plant. So you decide to enter it, and it puts you in a secret room with a staircase and a giant question mark block. Hitting this block will reveal a hammer suit. This is one of the rarest power-ups in the game, and it basically turns Mario into a hammer bro. You can throw hammers just like one, and you can use it to wipe out several enemies, including Thwomps. This is a really great power-up, and the fact that this level has it in a secret room gives it a big boost. So for that, I think this level deserves an A tier. I'm so happy they actually decided to include this power-up in the level. 7-9 is up. You begin in another desert area for some reason. What is it with these people placing desert levels in grass worlds? Anyways, going to the right reveals a giant maze structure. Yeah, this level is a maze which I'm not really a fan of. You have to make your way up these cracks and then destroy a pair of walls made of these blue bricks you can pick up and throw. After exiting the maze for a bit, you then have to go back in the maze by breaking a few brick walls here. After walking through a long corridor, you have to break another pair of brick walls before using these hard blocks to go up. After a few more walls, you can enter the pipe and the level comes to an end. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this one. The brick walls kind of feel like a nuisance, and walking around the maze is not very fun. I'm feeling a D tier for this one. How about you? Now it's time for the penultimate level, 7 Tower 2. And honestly, this level is a million times better than the first tower level. You begin by having to do some platforming on some pipes. Then you have to dodge a thwomp before having to squeeze in between two pipes with the piranha plants. After some platforming, you come to the level's second thwomp. After that, you need to enter a pipe, taking you to a sub-area. Here you have to dodge some waffles, some dry bones, and a thwomp. After all that, you just have to face off Boom Boom, which is not really special. He will, however, throw a tantrum after jumping on him. Once he is defeated, the level can come to an end. This is just a really fun platforming challenge in my opinion. While the level does kind of feel on the shorter side, it still is really fun. This is basically what the previous tower level should have been. I don't know who at Nintendo's headquarters thought that would be a fun idea. But honestly, I think we have another S tier on our hands, even though it feels a little short. But now, the time has come for the final level of World 7, 7 Airship. You begin in a king's room where the toad is panicking due to the king being transformed into a piranha plant, and you must find the magic wand to change it back. After the quick cutscene, the level begins. The level is shown to be an auto-scroller, but so is pretty much every other airship in the game, so no surprise there. Anyways, I also really like the sign color of the airships here. Our first obstacle has us dodging a pair of burners by jumping on the stretch platform. However, I usually don't take it because it's kinda slow. Then you have to do it again, but this time with an even longer track. Again, I usually don't take it. Then you face a pair of rocky wrenches before crouching under a wall. After some platforming, you finally enter the level's pipe, leading you to the boss, Ludwig. He'll shoot magic spells and stun you. To defeat him, you just have to jump on him 3 times, and then you can pick up the magic wand. After Mario falls from the sky, the king is back to his normal self. Also, why is he a Viking? After that, it's off to World 8, the final world in the game. This level was really just okay. The platforming is fine, the aesthetic is fine, the story, okay, the story doesn't matter. But my point is that the level is kinda mid. Really, it's just the auto-scroll bringing it down. Had they removed it, I would have liked this level more. I think this is a high D tier. Not rubbish, but just not good enough. So with all that being said, where does World 7 belong in the Super Mario Bros. 3 level analysis tier list? Well, it has a really unique theme of pipes and piranha plants, however the levels were kinda mixed. There are some levels with really cool creative ideas, however there were also some stinkers along the way. Had those been removed, this would easily be an S tier, but honestly, I think an A tier is just the right spot for this world. It has some creative levels with fun ideas, but some were just complete rubbish. So for that, I think World 7 of Super Mario Bros. 3, aka Pipeland, deserves an A tier in the Super Mario Bros. 3 level analysis tier list. But anyways, that's it for this video. Is the second flat level your favorite level in the game and hate me for not mentioning it? Let me know in the comments. Sorry for not uploading last month, I just thought the idea I had wouldn't be very interesting. Also, thank you so much for the support on the last videos. 500 views isn't much, but at least we're getting somewhere. I also want to apologize if the audio is a bit on the sloppier side. I just hate recording audio for videos, and I'm really on a deadline here, so I don't quite have time to polish this one. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Super Mario Bros. 3 is one of my favorite games ever made. You know what? I'm not even doing it anymore. Anyways, the last world of any Mario game is usually the hardest, usually being a series of platform levels set in a volcano or a castle or just anything with fire. Super Mario Bros. 3's World 8, however, aka Darkland, is the first world like this of its kind. Welcome to another episode of my level analysis series. Like last time, we'll be taking a look at World 8's layout, aesthetic, and finally a tier list for all the levels. This is also probably going to be the last episode of 2025. Also, I end up uploading in 2026, because in that case, it's the first episode of 2026. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, please subscribe or else I'll be furious. We're not even 10% of the way to hitting 1,000 subscribers. It shouldn't be this hard. Come on! But seriously, please subscribe. And let's jump right in. Alright, first of all, let's get into the layout. You begin by having to beat the first level, 8 Tank. After that, you are faced with a pipe that takes you to an inaccessible area and 8 Navy. After 8 Navy, you have to enter a pipe and risk falling into either 3 of the hand trap levels. And it was after the hand traps is onto 8 Airship. Then you have to enter another pipe taking you to 8-1. Also, why is it called 8-1 when it's literally the 7th level in this world? And it was after 8-2 you can enter this pipe which takes you to the other side of the map. Cool? Either way, you then have to beat 8 towers, which will then unlock the previously inaccessible area. But I don't really know what the point is if it only takes you backwards. Anyways, after entering one last pipe, you have to beat 8 Tank 2 to enter the final level in the game, 8 Castle. But how about the aesthetic? The land and water here is all red, which fits the fiery theme of this world. There's also a bunch of cool decorations such as flames, skulls, and castles. It kind of looks like an ancient cavern with fires and skulls. It feels very dark, and honestly, I think this is a really cool style. But now it's time for the longest section of the video, the level tier list. World 8 has 11 levels. Starting off, we have 8 Tank. Right away, this level is an auto-scroller, which I'm not really a fan of. You begin on a long tank with several cannons and bombs. Then after dodging a burner and a rocky wrench, you have to jump off several tanks while avoiding all the obstacles such as cannons, ball bombs, and rocky wrenches. After avoiding a giant cannon, you can enter the pipe and defeat the boomerang bro, which is not really that hard. After opening up the treasure chest, the level is finished. Honestly, this one is fine. The cannons and ball bombs make for a cool challenge, but the rocky wrenches throwing the projectiles can be kind of annoying. I think this level deserves a high D tier. Next up on the list is 8 Navy. This is once again another auto-scroll, however, it does have a cool trick I'll show you later. You begin on a ship with several cannons you have to avoid, along with a few rocky wrenches. After a giant cannon, you jump on the next ship. Then you have to climb a cannon stair and avoid a few rocky wrenches. After a pair of giant cannons and another cannon stair, you have to defeat the boss, Boom Boom. He's really easy to defeat as always. Once he's defeated, you can finish the level. This one is pretty much on the same quality as the last level, however, there is that cool trick I mentioned earlier. You see, this level has this liquid underneath that you can swim in. I don't know what it is, but it's probably sewage. Anyways, here you can swim underneath the ships, although it's kind of tricky to do. I'm personally really bad at it, I can't even go under one ship. Anyways, for that, I think this level deserves a low C tier. I don't want to put it too high since it is an auto-scroller after all. Next in line are the 3 hand trap levels. These are 3 levels that if you step on the world map, there's a chance that Mario will get sucked in. These 3 are each very short challenges based on a certain enemy. The first one here is about different hammer bros, and it's easily the shortest one. You start with a fire bro, and then you have to make your way up some bricks. Then after a slash bro, you can open up the treasure chest and finish the level. This one's fine, probably my least favorite because it's like 10 seconds long. I'll give this one a high D tier. The second hand trap level is next. This one is based around lava bubbles. You begin by having to dodge a bunch of lava bubbles. Then after a big jump, you have to avoid a few more before entering a pipe. After opening the treasure chest, the level comes to a close. Now on the one hand, this level features lava bubbles, which I think are a cool enemy. However, on the other hand, the level feels too short. Had they made it longer, I would have liked it more. I think we have another high D tier. Next, we have the third and last hand trap level, which is based around flying cheap sheeps. This one begins with you having to jump off some bridges before crouching under a wall. After a few more jumps, you can collect some coins before entering a pipe. Here you can open the treasure chest, and the level comes to a close. This is probably my favorite one. If I had to give a complaint, it's probably that the flying fish are kind of annoying and unpredictable to avoid. Maybe they could have replaced them with some monster that comes out of the lava or something. Definitely a low C tier. Back to regular levels though. Next up on the list is 8 airship. Auto scroll, you begin by having to jump off some small ships with burners and rocky wrenches. After reaching a semi-solid platform, you have to jump off some more ships before entering the pipe. Here you just have to defeat Boom Boom again. This one's fine. The risk of falling off is the challenge, and it's more exciting than having ground or liquid to land on. I'll put this one as a low C tier. 8-1 is next. Why is it called 8-1 when it's literally the 7th level in this world? I have no idea. Anyways, you begin by having to jump off some pipes with piranha plants. Then after using some bullet bills as platforms and crouching under a wall, you have to jump over another pipe before using the bullet bill as a platform. After jumping on some pipes, the level comes to a close. I really like how challenging this one is. The aesthetic is cool, and the use of piranha plants and bullet bills makes for a pretty solid challenge. I'm also really glad this isn't an auto-scroller, because if it was, then it would have been a lot less fun. Easily an A tier. 8-2 is up. You begin on some hills and then have to avoid a few piranha plants. Then you have to go down a big hill while avoiding some more piranha plants, but then it's the sun! Yeah, the angry sun appears in this level, so that's cool. Anyways, you then have to bounce on some note blocks before making it up another hill while avoiding more piranha plants. Then after sliding down a huge slope, you need to bounce on a pair of note blocks before the level comes to a close. This was a really cool level. I don't like how the sun appears at night, but it's probably more annoying by day. Well, other than that, it's pretty fun. The best part, however, is a secret at the beginning. Before the piranha plants, you may stumble upon a quicksand pit. Sinking into it reveals a secret room under the sand with 2 pipes. The left one takes you to a blue room with stairs and a Tanuki suit. The one to the right, however, takes you to another room with 100 coins. These rooms both exit at a pipe on the hill near the end. This is a really cool secret. Not only does it allow you to skip about 3 quarters of the level, but it also adds a feeling of surprise when you enter the hidden room under the quicksand. It looks like it'll kill you, but it doesn't. So for that, I think we have another A tier on our hands. Now it's time for 8 Tower. This level honestly kind of stinks. You begin in a room where you have to avoid a bunch of waffles. You then have to enter a door all the way to the right to continue on with the level. This takes us to a sub-area in which you have to do some platforming to avoid some lava bubbles. After that, you encounter a pit. You have to enter a door to the right again, and then enter the door to the right again. This takes us to a narrow conveyor corridor with spikes on the ceiling, so you have to crouch to get through. After dodging a waffle, you make it through a long corridor. Then you have to hit a block with a P switch, causing a door to spawn all the way to the right. Entering this door takes us to Boom Boom. He's a bit more difficult to defeat this time because the floor is a conveyor belt, but after he is defeated, the level is finished. I really don't like how this level can be confusing for new players. I used to get stuck on this level all the time because I didn't know which door to enter. I'll give this one a low D tier. Next up is the second to last level in the game, 8 Tank 2. You begin by having to avoid a cannon before getting on one of the tanks. Here you have to avoid some cannons on the tank, as well as ones coming from the ceiling. After that, you have to get on a tank with rocky wrenches before going on another one with cannons everywhere. After avoiding a rocky wrench, you have to enter the pipe to defeat Boom Boom. This is also the final time you'll be seeing him in the game. This level is pretty much on the same quality as those auto-scrollers from earlier. Sometimes the bombs and cannons can be annoying, but other than that, D tier. But now the time has come for the final level in the game, 8 Castle. You begin in a room where you have to avoid Bowser statues shooting lasers at you. Then you have to get to the lift before going down again. After that, you have to climb a long staircase while avoiding waffles. Then you have to do some platforming on some donut blocks while avoiding lava bubbles. Then you have to avoid some more before entering a door. Here you have to get past some more Bowser structures, and do some more platforming while avoiding Bowser's fire. Then after entering a door, it's time to face off the main man himself. To defeat him, you have to stand on a brick floor that Bowser can ground pound on to break. Do this 3 times and you can rescue Peach. After that, the game is complete. I love so many things about this level. Firstly, the aesthetic is amazing. The walls have this beautiful orange color that I really love. Secondly, this level manages to be challenging, but not too challenging to the point where I find it annoying. This level also has another route. At the end of the platforming section with the donuts, you can enter a door at the top where you have to avoid some Bowser statues and avoid Bowser's fire while jumping on donut blocks. Then you have to face off Bowser himself again. But yeah, for its fair challenge and beautiful aesthetic, 8 Castle deserves an S tier. I really don't see any other spot for this level. So with all that being said, where does World 8 belong on the Super Mario Bros. 3 level analysis tier list? Well, firstly, it has a really cool aesthetic with skulls and fire on the world map. Secondly, this world has a lot of auto-scrollers. Some of them were okay, but most of them were just kind of boring. The 3 hand trap levels are also cool, but they each have their flaws as well. 8-1 and 8-2, however, were really great levels with some actual thought put into them. 8-1 is a challenging platforming level with piranha plants and bullet bills, and 8-2 contains one of my favorite secrets. 8 Tower was a bit on the bad side, but 8 Castle was just absolutely phenomenal. Not only does it have a beautiful aesthetic, but I also really like the Bowser fight. So for its mixed levels but phenomenal finale, World 8 gets a low A tier on the Super Mario Bros. 3 level analysis tier list. But anyways, that's it for this video. Is the second hand trap level your favorite level in the game, and hate me for putting it in D tier? Let me know in the comments. I don't know why, but for some reason the last episode did not perform well at all. I know that most people are interested in newer games, but come on man, give the past some love. I also want to try doing some A/B testing on my thumbnails, hoping that'll increase the views, but I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you. Oh, and also Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!